If you are ever in the Cleveland Justice Courts, here are 4 words you do not want to hear.
Take him to jail. And if I have to say those 4 words, when the last one escapes my lips, it'll be as though you disappeared from the face of the planet, not to reappear until your sentence is completed.
Cleveland Justice, only on TV 20. We are Cleveland.
Good morning. My name is Leroy Morrow, and I'm the Deputy Chief of Administrative Operations. To all the family and friends, law enforcement personnel, the local, state, and federal community partners, the clergy, appointed and elected officials, on behalf of all the men and women of the Cleveland Division of Police, it is my pleasure to welcome you today to the Cleveland Division of Police 128th Police Academy graduation ceremony. I will now introduce our distinguished guests seated on the stage. If you can hold your applause until I have completed introducing the platform. And it's on behalf of these distinguished guests, their daily direction and inspiration is inspiring to so many of us on a daily basis. We have with us seated on stage today you already heard Chaplain Clinton Skaggs, Police Chaplain. We have with us Cleveland Division of Police Chief Michael McGrath, Director of Public Safety Martin L. Flass, the Honorable Frank G. Jackson, Mayor of the City of Cleveland, U.S. Attorney Stephen Dettelbach, U.S. Marshal Peter J. Elliott, Scott D. Ralston, President of Blue Coats Incorporated. And if you would all join me in a welcome for our distinguished guests. At this time, we will hear some remarks from Cleveland Division of Police Chief Michael McGrath.
Leroy, thank you. Good morning, everyone. This morning is about choices. Cadets before us today have chosen to work in what I firmly believe is the most honorable profession in the world, law enforcement. Their career choice is about serving their community, and they are to be commended for their commitment. I would like to thank Commander O'Neill, Lieutenant Soroka, and the Academy staff for their hard work and dedication conducting this Academy Class 128. The Cleveland Police Academy graduates, some of the finest law enforcement officers, I believe, in this country. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to address the cadets. I expressed to them the Division of Police and the community's expectations. I also stressed the 5 values of the Division of Police: professionalism, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence. These 5 values are summed up in one word: pride. Pride is the most important gift that you can give yourself as law enforcement officers. It is the gift of having self-respect, making a difference, and maintaining honor. This is the value that will ultimately define the cadets before us. Everyday police officers throughout this country go to work not knowing what the day holds. Their tour of duty can be quiet and relatively slow, or it can bring forth a crisis where lives literally depend on the officer's ability to think clearly and make competent decisions. It is these traits that define what law enforcement is all about. These traits will define the cadets. At this time, I would like to acknowledge and thank family and friends for your support, past, present, and future. And finally, to the cadets, many of you have given up other careers, other opportunities to follow your dreams. Please, please do not let yourselves or your families down. There is an old adage: it is not the number of times you've been knocked down that will define you, but it is the number of times that you get up and dust yourselves off. On behalf of the Cleveland Division of Police Command Staff, I would like to congratulate each and every one of you on your accomplishments. We wish you the best of luck, and God bless you and your families. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. We'll now hear some comments from the Director of Public Safety, Martin L. Flass.
Thanks, Chief.
Good morning. On behalf of all the men and women of the Department of Public Safety, I want to offer our collective congratulations to all our graduates this morning. To the families and the friends who are here today, thank you for the support that you've given to these fine young men and women, because without that support, I'm confident that some of them may not be with us today. We certainly have a lot of special guests and dignitaries who have taken the time to join us this morning, but I would like to recognize 3. First of all, Assistant Director of Public Safety Laura Palinkas, Assistant Director of Public Safety and former Chief of Police Mary Bounds. And I would also like to express our appreciation for the presence of Mrs. Leon, Mrs. Grace Leon, whose husband was tragically lost in service to this community just slightly more than a decade ago. The training here at the Police Academy wasn't easy. Not everyone who started the Police Academy training program successfully completed that program. And that's the way it's supposed to be. The job really isn't for everyone. But for those who stand tall, those who step forward and accept the responsibility, public service is a great career for which all of you and your families can be proud. Men and women of the Cleveland Division of Police regularly and routinely step into the path of harm's way to serve and protect. When your time comes, you will do so just as well, not just because it's your future job, but because of honor and duty and a commitment that all of you share for serving the best interests of the residents of our community. We need young men and women like you to step forward, assume responsibility, and become community leaders. Community leaders who are dedicated to public service. What you do, how you live your lives, and the quality of service you provide to our community is truly in your hands. It is what the chief said, it's all about choices. Don't waste that opportunity. Each of you is being given a gift today, a privilege to serve the citizens of the city of Cleveland. I hope that when you finally get the opportunity to perform that service, to stand with Chief McGrath and our officers, you will do it with honor and professionalism. I hope that you will make the Division of Police, this community, and your families as proud of you as we are of you today. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Director. We will now hear some remarks from Council President Martin J. Sweeney.
Thank you very much to our mayor, to our guest speakers, to the command staff, to the friends and family, and most importantly, to the 128th graduating class of the Cleveland Police Department. I am Martin Sweeney on behalf of the entire Cleveland City Council. It's a privilege to be here and congratulate you. I want to introduce a couple of my colleagues that are here. Councilman Zach Reed standing right there, Councilman Martin Kane's in the back, and Councilwoman Phyllis Cleveland is somewhere here. I'm in a tax review hearing upstairs, but I wanted to come down and make sure that council congratulated you and make two very specific points. One is the responsibility that you will have to make the people of the city of Cleveland feel safe, both perception and in reality. They want it, they need it, and they expect it, and that falls on your shoulders. And a second point I want to make is that this council will work with this administration to get you on the job to be able to help do the things that are necessary to make the people feel safe as best we can and get you here as soon as possible. And one other point I'd like to make is your guest speakers today, the United States Attorney's Office and the United States Marshal's Office. They're on stage today, but I've been through 5 graduations now. And if they're not on stage, they're out in the audience. They take this very serious no matter what role they play, and the partnership of the local participation is very important to them, and they should be recognized for their attention. And one thing I did last time, I kind of get a kick out of this. If I ask them a question, I love their answers. Are you excited today? Congratulations and Godspeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council President. We will now hear some remarks from the Mayor of the City of Cleveland, the Honorable Frank G. Jackson.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. First, I want to welcome everyone to the 128th Police Cadet Academy graduation. And I want to congratulate all the cadets for what they've accomplished and their family. You know, public service is an honorable profession. And as the Chief said, you made that choice. And we're glad that you made that choice. At the same time, we recognize the challenges that you will have. And we want to thank you for choosing public service because everyone is not fit for it. So thank you very much for choosing it. Special recognition, I want to recognize Police Chief Michael McGrath and CPPA President Steve Loomis because of their working together to ensure that this graduation happens. So I very much appreciate what you and you have done in order to assure that. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. If you could remain standing, and if I could have the members of the 128th Police Academy graduation class stand, please. At this time, the mayor will issue the oath of office.
Could you raise your right hand? I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio, the charter and ordinances of the city of Cleveland, obey the rules, regulations, and orders of the Division of Police of the City of Cleveland, and will discharge the duties of my office to the best of my knowledge and ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Please be seated. At this time, we will hear some remarks from our first guest speaker, U.S. Attorney Stephen Dettelbach.
So it's probably allowed for you guys to smile now. I want to thank Mayor Jackson, Chief McGrath, the Cleveland Police Command staff, Academy staff, Marshal Elliott, for allowing me to be part of this wonderful ceremony, Director Flask. I really do appreciate it. I also want to recognize in the audience our wonderful SAC of the FBI, who is a stalwart defender of law enforcement, Steve Anthony. Steve, thanks for being here and for being such a great partner. Congratulations to the graduates, to their parents, spouses, family, friends, people who are here or not here. My message to you, other than noticing every time we come here you seem to get younger, I don't know why that's happening, is to hold on to your dreams and hold on to your ideals. Dreams and ideals are called dreams and ideals not because they're always easy things to hold on to, but because they're the most important things to hold on to. And sitting here today as we all watch you having realized one of those dreams, we are in awe of you. You have chosen to make an incredible choice and sacrifice to help protect our community. You know, there are numerous ways that we see this kind of sacrifice. The starkest way is when we all gather in May during Police Memorial Week at the badge case ceremony. But it's not just those sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifices that you're going to make, and we all know it. There are nights, weekends, holidays, missed ball games, birthday parties. You're not in this job to get rich. We all know that. But it's important that you're making this choice. And on behalf of all of us, I want to tell you, thank you, and we are truly in awe of the decision that you have made. Now, I have seen hard work get done by the men and women of this police department and other police departments when they work on the streets, just everyday policing, and also when they help us to make large heroin trafficking cases or organized crime cases. When you came to the assistance of the community and helped solve the most deadly arson house fire in Cleveland history. The men and women of this department have been stalwarts in the effort to fight violent crime in this area. And you have done a great job, and you're joining a tradition that is something that is really a source of pride for our community. It goes without saying, and it's been said, but I'll say it again, you have also been given a sacred trust. You have immense power, the power to change lives, to arrest people, and indirectly, even short of arresting people, to set the tone of how people view us in law enforcement. Every time you walk down the street, people aren't just looking at you, they're looking at the people who came before you, and they're looking at the ones who come after you. And you'll have to live with the things that they've done, good things, and when people haven't lived up to the expectations we have, not so good things. And keep that in mind. It's an awesome responsibility, and you don't just have it for yourselves, you have it for all of your colleagues. And it's hard, because day in and day out, you are going to see people at their worst. You see families who's just lived through suffering traumatic events. You'll see perpetrators who are breaking the law. You'll see people who may be often encountering law enforcement, and you'll see those who, the time that you meet with them, may be the first time or only time they've ever encountered law enforcement. And the way you handle that encounter is going to be what they think of law enforcement for the rest of their lives. It's a tremendous and awesome responsibility. And you are the ones that we as a community have picked, have selected to carry out that responsibility, and that is something to be proud of. There's a tendency sometimes when you work in a job like that to get jaded, to get cynical. That's a human thing. And every single person here is going to have that temptation. You're going to have those days where, gosh, things just seem hard. And when you get there, I urge you to remember your families, the love and support they're giving you, to remember today the reasons why you all chose to make the sacrifice that you're making for the community, to hold on to that dream and hold on tight to that ideal. One way that you might think about doing that, and I would encourage you to do it, is don't be only a police officer. Be a member of the community. If you're already doing things at your church, at your synagogue, at your Little League, kids events, keep doing those things. If you're not, pick something else outside work to do in your precious time with your family, something that matters to you, to ground you in the world outside of law enforcement. Not only is it a great thing for the community, but I think over time you'll discover it's something that really helps you as well. And it's hard to do because those free time hours are so valuable in a job like yours. Remember every day that you have the opportunity to change people's lives for the better. You have a tremendous job, one of the best jobs in the world, but one of the hardest jobs in the world. And today my message to you is that we, everyone here, believes that you're the best people to do that job. Congratulations, and remember, hold on to your dreams and hold on to your ideals. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, U.S. Attorney Dettelbach. Our featured speaker for today is Peter J. Elliott. Marshal Elliott is a United States Marshal for the Northern District of Ohio. He's responsible for the management, administration, and direction of operations throughout the district. Marshal Elliott grew up in Lakewood, Ohio, graduated from St. Edward High School, and holds a bachelor's degree in public administration from Capital University. Marshal Elliott created Fugitive Safe Surrender Program and has received numerous awards for his work in law enforcement, including Top Cop of America. Please join me in welcoming our featured guest speaker, Peter J. Elliott.
I'd like to first recognize also Grace Leone. Grace, stand up there. I know you are out there. Grace has been a tremendous inspiration for all of us. There she is, our law enforcement. And thank you, Grace. Grace, thank you for all you've done for law enforcement. And next to her, I'd like to recognize Father Cregan, who has been a chaplain for a number of years. Father. I'd like to thank U.S. Attorney Dettelbach for his words and also recognize Sheriff Bob Reed, Steve Anthony and Pete Bickmore from the FBI, and Gino from DEA. I am here to tell you that the relationships in federal and local law enforcement are better than ever now. And that's because of the participation of these individuals, Chief McGrath, Steve Dettelbach, and numerous others. But thank you guys for your partnerships. I also like to very quickly thank Steve Loomis for all his hard work here in the city and recognize my friend from the second best school in Northern Ohio, St. Ignatius. I'm St. Ed, so it's got to be number one, man. But Marty Sweeney for his very, very kind words. But it is an honor to be here this morning, and it's an honor to address this graduation ceremony. It's a special day for each of you, and it's also a special day for the family and friends that are gathered here today because of the pride they have in all of the graduates of the 128th Cleveland Police Academy class. We in the law enforcement community are very proud of each and every one of you for your dedication and determination to become law enforcement officers, especially under these very unusual and unique circumstances. This has been a difficult situation for all of you. We are proud and impressed, very, very impressed, that you stuck this through, knowing that you would be commissioned as officers and then immediately laid off. Know that your hard work will pay off. Your dedication, your loyalty, your perseverance to our profession will win in the end. I will promise you each that. All of us who have been in law enforcement know that in our profession, the best police officers are the most dedicated, determined, and driven. And they will fight through any and every single obstacle in furtherance of our profession. Today, with the taking of your oath, each of you has entered into that category of being driven, determined, and dedicated. Today, you are police officers, and nothing or no one or no set of circumstances can take that away from you. Today, you become part of our family, of our tradition, and of our law enforcement community. And today, we become part of you. I have had the great opportunity throughout my law enforcement career over the last 28 years here in Northern Ohio of working alongside the Cleveland Police Department. And I know firsthand what a dedicated, professional, well-trained department that you have. I have worked many, many years with your mayor, your safety director, and your police chief. And I know how very, very committed they are to bringing every single one of you back to this department and to this city. But I also know that the reality is that some of you may move on within our law enforcement community and within our profession. I also know that from working throughout our nation with so many other departments, that law enforcement in Northern Ohio is like no other. And if you can work here and we're trained here, then you can work anywhere in the streets of America and excel. Each of you just went through some of the best law enforcement training in our nation, and you will carry that training with you wherever your future will bring you. Our profession, our law enforcement community, the one that you just entered, is like no other profession in this world. We have stood together, side by side, through thick and thin, through good and bad, as we stand here today as one, and we stand as one. There is no other profession like ours in this world. And with your oath today, with your oath that you just took, you are now each part of it. Throughout my career, over the last 28 years, I've been through 4 different police academies on the state and federal level, serving on 4 different departments, and I would like to give you each a little advice through my experiences from what I have learned over my law enforcement career. First, be proud. Be very, very proud of your position and who you are and the department you represent. This is not a job. I want to make that clear. This is not a job. It is part of you. It is part of who you are and what you represent. No matter what department you are on, small or large, be proud of your position and the law enforcement community that you represent, because each of you now represents us, and we now represent each of you. Your actions will reflect on all of us. Be proud of your position and who and what you represent. Be professional and be honest. Each of you knows that, and I do not need to stress it. Approach every day like your every action will be scrutinized, and everything you do will be scrutinized. You'll be held at a higher standard than the rest. You are sworn to uphold the law. You are an example for others to look up to, not just while you are on duty. Even when you think no one is looking, someone is. Know that there are no secrets in our law enforcement profession. Everything you do will have a domino effect on us and on others. It'll be up to you as law enforcement officers which way that domino falls. Everything in life, every single thing in life has a domino effect. Be honest in everything that you do, even the smallest of things. What you do reflects on all of us and on our profession. Being a local police officer is the most powerful job in law enforcement, period. No matter what anybody else may tell you or lead you to believe, it is the most powerful job in law enforcement today. Your decisions as local officers will affect numerous lives every single day in your community. And you will be the judge and you will be the jury countless times on a daily basis. Remember, with great power comes great, great responsibility. Many difficult choices will confront you each and every single day. Remember, always choose to do the harder right than the easier wrong. As I said before, this job is part of you, part of who you are, but don't make this job your life. Do not let it consume you. We in the law enforcement community have seen it too many times. You will end up only hurting yourself and hurting those important and close to you. And you will have a negative domino effect on others. Listen to everybody, talk with each other, find friends from within law enforcement and from without law enforcement. Do not let this job consume you. Years ago, John Wooden, and I don't know if anybody remembers John Wooden, but he was one of the greatest basketball coaches ever for UCLA. He called every one of his players into the locker room and he asked them where basketball fit in their lives. Every single player answered, "Number one, coach." John Wooden told them if basketball was number one in their lives, he didn't want them playing for him. Here's a man who got UCLA to 10 national championships, telling them that basketball is not number one. He said, your priorities need to be straight. He said, basketball needs to be number 3. He said, first God, then family, then basketball. He knew if things were right with God, then your heart is right. He knew if things were right with your family, then your emotions and mind would be right. And he knew if things were right in your heart and mind, that things would be right on the basketball court. His players could and did give him 100% when they played and went on to win numerous national championships. Why? Because they had their priorities straight and took care of important matters before they set foot on the court. Our profession is no different. Have your priorities straight. We don't get second chances or the ability for instant replays. Have your priorities straight before you put on your uniforms. And lastly, look around at each other. These fellow officers, these classmates will be your best resources for the rest of your careers. These are the people who will be there for you and support you. These are the people who know what you have gone through to get to this point. Maintain these relationships for the rest of your careers. You will be each other's best assets. I cannot stress that enough. Today, I have so many fellow officers with various departments across this nation that I still keep in contact with. They are my best assets. Keep in contact with each other always, no matter where you end up or where you go. Maintain those relationships. This profession that you entered today with your oath is very, very, very special. It is like no other profession in the world. It is our community, bound together by our desire and our drive to serve and to protect. It is a tradition of courage, a tradition of service and sacrifice, and mostly, above everything else, it is our tradition of brotherhood that you, the men and women of Class 128, Cleveland Police Academy Class 128, were chosen for. Congratulations, graduates. Stay the course. With your graduation today, you have proved your commitment to our tradition and to our brotherhood. On behalf of all the men and women who serve, we are looking forward to standing alongside each of you. Welcome to our law enforcement family. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Marshal Elliott. At this time, we will hear some remarks from the class speaker from the 128th Police Academy, James C. Swope.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start by saying it's an honor to speak on behalf of the 128th Academy class. I want to thank everyone that has helped us through one of the most challenging times in our lives. Our families have stood by us and encouraged us through the ups and downs of the last 6 months. Without the support of our families and friends, this would have been much more difficult. Again, thank you. We would also like to thank the Academy staff for the guided leadership to get us ready to become one of Cleveland's finest. They instructed us on some of the finer aspects of becoming a professional police officer, and they did it in a unique way. Looking back, 6 months have gone by rather quickly. If you would have asked any one of us, 6 months seemed like a very long time. The night before Academy started, I had a hard time sleeping. I was very anxious about what to expect the following morning. I'm sure every recruit can attest to that. I could only go on what I've heard from other officers from previous classes. What I heard did not come close to what was expected of us. I distinctly remember seeing many of the recruits caught completely off guard with their eyes as big as saucers, especially Chris Smith, who looked like a deer in the headlights. We were told to report to work at 8 a.m. I remember Recruit Allen walking into the classroom at exactly 8 o'clock and stating how she was told to report at 8 o'clock. That did not go over well with the instructors, as you can imagine. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. We all learned that the hard way on the 8th floor doing Spider-Man push-ups. During the first couple months, the personalities of each recruit were subdued. There were a few personalities that stood out from the beginning. Recruit Pesta and Recruit Sobolik were the comedians. They could make a joke about anything, especially when we felt beat down. Over the 6 months, I bet instructors made Sobolik and Pesta do a few thousand push-ups, not including PT. As the time went on, everyone's individual personalities and talents began to come out. We knew that Recruit Flannery was the best candidate to be the leader of the class. We knew that Recruit O'Brien was the one we could go to for clarification about homework or notes. Recruit Saffel was the mother figure of the class. If we needed a quick laugh, we could ask Recruit Anderkovic to say something. We learned to use each other's strengths towards a greater goal of becoming a Cleveland police officer. Our instructors are the greatest group of people a recruit could ask for. Lieutenant Soroka, compassionate yet firm person. Sergeant Merrifield is very stern and does not like it when recruits smile or laugh. Fun was not allowed. Officer Eberhardt taught us that being a police officer does not always entail enforcing the law, but also involves many relationships with the people of the community. Officer Smith taught us that English includes words not listed in the dictionary. Officer Cortan taught us that patience is a virtue. Officer Kemmer taught us that being able to write quickly is a very important part of the job. You were lucky to write down a full page of her notes before she would go on to the next PowerPoint slide. Officer Bartabaugh taught us that tactical training makes sense. Officer Dawson taught us that we need to take care of ourselves because we can get hurt easily, including just walking down the stairs. Officer Kwan for the ins and outs of the district, how to become a patrolman's patrolman, and of course safety during building searches. The range instructors taught us how to properly handle our weapons, and that is a huge responsibility of being a police officer. The gym instructors taught us the importance of physical conditioning. It can make or break you on the streets, and they did a very good job to make sure we are in shape, trust me. One of these things that the instructors stress time and time again is the fact that we are becoming part of a brotherhood. It is our job to stand behind our coworkers in times of need. We all came into the academy as individuals from different backgrounds, beliefs, cultures. There were many occasions where our beliefs clashed with each other. We learned that when there are clashing beliefs, the best solution is to PT in the rain and mud and run up and down the stairs together. Although at the time we did not see this as helping, it brought us together as a single unit. The unity helped us work together to pass the state PT test and written tests, with the highest score in recent history at a 90.38. Because of this, we are no longer Recruit Bays, Recruit Cuba, or Recruit Flannery, but we are now one entity, the 128th Police Academy. This academy has been challenging for everyone, but together we have overcome adversity and are able to be here today before you as Cleveland police officers.
Thank you for your comments, Officer Swoop. We will now hear presentation and comments from the President of Blue Coats Incorporated, Scott D. Ralston.
Thank you. Before I get started, I'd like to recognize a couple of people who are very important to Blue Coats. Once again, recognize Grace Leon there and our Executive Director, Chuck Labello. And on behalf of Blue Coats, and speaking very proudly as a citizen of Cleveland, I couldn't be more pleased and proud to look out at this group, at this class. And it's my distinct pleasure to award the Blue Coats Award of Excellence for the top recruit in the class. Blue Coats is an organization devoted exclusively to the well-being of families of Cuyahoga County safety officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Since our founding in 1956, Blue Coats has supported nearly 100 families of brave men and women who have made the supreme sacrifice. We are here to celebrate not only your graduation, but I get to make the presentation for the top recruit. We have a plaque to honor that recruit today. The criteria for the selection of the top recruit consists of a combination of three components: academics, physical ability, and firearms proficiency. This year's top recruit, this class's top recruit, is characterized by the Academy Commander, Lieutenant George, did we just lose that? Keep going?
Give that a shot and see what happens.
Hello? Anyway, our winner today attained a score of 93% on the physical ability component and a very impressive 100% on the firearms proficiency qualification. And another interesting note, this cadet's father, officer's father, Chris, is a captain with the Cleveland Division of Fire and is himself a graduate of the 123rd class of the Cleveland Police Academy, which was required for his former duties as a fire arson investigator. And I'd like the winner to come forward, please. The top recruit of this class is Andrew D. Pasante. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Ralston. We'll now have some presentation of some special awards for Lieutenant George Soroka, who's in charge of the Police Academy.
Thank you, Chief. I'm going to present some of the awards for Merit Awards. Merit Awards are based upon firearms proficiency, top physical recruit, and the highest academic. First of all, proficiency. 4 individuals scored 100%. The first, Dale Beckman. Please step forward. John Holtz. Andrew Posante. Kenneth Zaverna. Second standard on the Merit Awards for top physical recruit. For male, Andre Posante, 93%. For female, Serene Sappho, 91%. The final Merit Award is for the highest academic score during their tenure in the Cleveland Police Academy. With a total score of 97%, Robert O'Brien, Jr.
If you can just remain standing here, Lieutenant, and the receiving line. If we could have SWAT Lieutenant Tim Gardner come to the podium, as well as former SWAT Sergeant O.B. O'Brien is in attendance this morning. If he can come to the podium.
This next award is the Arthur Schwalgeen Leadership Award. Before we present the award for outstanding leadership in the Police Academy, I want to give you a little bit of background about the person who this award is given to. Prior to announcing to the recipient of this award, I'd like to share you some biographical information on for which this award is named. Arthur Schwalgeen was a standout football player during his high school days at Benedictine. After school, Art was drafted into the Army and was eventually recruited into Special Forces while still in basic training. Extremely rare for a draftee to become a Green Beret, even more whilst being recruited while still in basic training. After the Army, Art enrolled at The Ohio State University. Art decided to try out as a walk-on for the Buckeye football team. He not only made the team, but played for legendary head coach Woody Hayes. Coach Hayes would later state, "It would be great to have a Green Beret on my team." The year was 1968, and Ohio State won the NCAA championship. The next year, 1969, Art joined the Cleveland Police Department. As a member of the 3rd District, he was recruited into the tactical unit. Art was promoted to sergeant and continued to serve as a member of the tactical unit. When the tactical unit was disbanded in 1976, Art worked with others to transform the old tactical unit into what is today SWAT. The year was 1978. Art maintained a SWAT unit founding member until the mid-1980s when he joined the police academy. Art quickly became a true leader of the police academy, as being described as Sergeant Major. Art transformed the academy into what it is today, a top-notch, disciplined, high-standard-driven academy dedicated to producing the finest police officers in any academy nationwide. While at the academy, Art went back to school, finishing his bachelor's degree and going on to law school and graduating with his law degree. Shortly after retiring from the Cleveland Division of Police in 1998, Art beat out 30-plus candidates and became Chief of Security at Beechwood Mall. Art remained at Beechwood for a number of years before finally officially retiring. During this time, Art was also able to obtain the title of professor at Tiffin University, where he taught terrorism before the term terrorism is the term we know today. Unfortunately, we lost Art in 2009, but his legacy lives on with this award. All in all, Art was a person dedicated to duty. Art led by example and never wavered in his beliefs regarding leadership. The winner of this award has big shoes to fill. And without further hesitation, the recipient of the 128th recruit class Arthur Schwalgeen Award is Daniel Flannery.
At this time, we will have the presentation of certificates.
Juanetta A. Allen. Harvey M. Andrukovic. Andre L. Bays. Dale A. Beckman. David S. Bell, Jr. John Boomis. Kevin Brown. Matthew J. Kavanaugh. Sabrina M. Choate. Elena R. Chalky. Alex Cruz. Cynthia E. Kuba. Daniel J. Flannery. Angelia R. Gaston. Delonzo A. Goshen. Jonathan B. Haney. Thomas P. Holian. John A. Holtz. Isaac R. King, Sr. Richard J. Kavasik. Timothy J. Munko. Scott J. Navertil. Robert J. O'Brien, Jr. Andrew F. Pesta. Daniel W. Piper, Jr. Andrew D. Posante. Robbie M. Prock. Robert Radicevic. James P. Reddy. Ricardo J. Roman. Brian M. Sobolik. Serene D. Sappho. Bruce L. Shields. Chad E. Smith. Christopher C. Smith. Kelly A. Smith. Brian D. Sochek. James C. Swope. Joseph M. Tilka. Shauna M. Van Zant. Melanie R. Wilson. Kenneth C. Zverna. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the 128th Cleveland Police Recruit Class.
I also think we have in attendance Derek Owens' wife here today, and Tracy Johnson is here today. Thank you for your attendance. Just a few final comments before we have the benediction by Clinton Skaggs. If I could just have the officers of the 128th class stand up. Just a few final comments. What you've accomplished something that no one else here will ever be able to do, and that is a graduate of the 128th Police Academy class for Cleveland Division of Police. Sure, many of us here have went through other classes and we all have our respective class numbers, but your experiences and what you accomplished is unique to yourselves, and you can rest assured you will forever be known as a member of the 128th Police Academy class at Cleveland Division of Police. Now, one thing that we didn't do today, you're sitting up front here because of the support and unwavering support of your family, friends, and loved ones. And I'm sure over the past 26 weeks, you overcame obstacles and hurdles. I'm sure your loved ones overcame obstacles and hurdles as well. So I think it would only be fitting if we give a heartfelt, warm round of applause for that undying support from your family and loved ones before, during, and after your time in the Academy. Please be seated. We'll now have the benediction by Chaplain Clinton Skaggs.
Two words beyond pride: perseverance and patience. These will pay off for you. I can tell you now that myself did never plan on being a chaplain when I was your age, and I'm here now. So the road has many turns in life. Perseverance and patience. With that in mind, would you please put your hands together and bow your head. Lord God, we thank you for these men and women who have achieved today. We thank you for all the men and women now who wear the badge and protect us and make that line between those who would harm us and those who protect us. Lord, be with all of them in their duties. Be with these new officers as they seek out their future. And be with us all, Lord God. Thank you and amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Skaggs. That concludes our ceremony for today, and thank you for your attendance.